Hello, dear friends. I am Dr. Harold Benson, a physician with over 30 years of experience in geriatrics and preventive medicine. Over the years, I have seen many things. Patients come to me with pain, fatigue, complaints of poor memory or insomnia. But I have also seen miracles. How simple lifestyle changes, sometimes so tiny that they are easy to miss, literally turn a person's life upside down. Today I want to talk about a problem that I am sure worries everyone who has crossed the 60-year mark. It is memory, attention, and clarity of mind. You must admit, there are few things that are more frightening than forgetfulness. We can come to terms with gray hair, wrinkles, even sore joints. But when the brain starts to fail, it becomes truly scary. I remember Mrs. Linda, a patient of mine from a small town. She had always been a very active woman, reading books, doing needlework. But in recent years, she began to notice that it was becoming increasingly difficult for her to concentrate. She often forgot the names of friends and even left the stove on. This frightened her. She came to me in despair, convinced that she was developing dementia. But sometimes the solution is more complicated than it seems, and sometimes it is simpler. And in Linda's case, everything turned out to be very simple. I suggested that she include one product in her diet, which we will talk about today. Not a fashionable, expensive supplement from an advertisement, not a mysterious powder from another country, but something that you can find in any supermarket. This is a simple walnut. Yes, the one we often see on the holiday table or in baked goods. Many underestimate this product, thinking that nuts are just a snack. But behind this modest shell hides a real treasure trove of substances that can literally rejuvenate your brain, improve memory, and even protect against age-related diseases. In this video, I will tell you what substances are contained in walnuts and how they affect our brain, why they become especially useful after 60 years, how to eat them correctly to get maximum benefit and not harm your figure, and, most interestingly, real stories of people who regained clarity of thought by adding just a handful of nuts to their diet. Stay with me until the end, because I'm going to give you my favorite morning nutty brain shake recipe that I recommend to all my patients. So, why walnuts? The secret is in their composition. Firstly, walnuts are one of the few plant products that contain omega-3 fatty acids, especially alpha-linolenic acid. These acids are vital for the brain. Our brain consists of almost 60 fat, and the right fats are the building material for cells. Omega-3 improves the conductivity of nerve impulses, promotes better oxygen supply to the brain, and reduces inflammation. Secondly, walnuts contain antioxidants, polyphenols, vitamin E, melatonin. They protect the brain from oxidative stress, the very process that destroys cells and leads to aging. Scientists have proven that polyphenols reduce the amount of free radicals in brain cells and help neurons live longer. Thirdly, nuts are rich in magnesium, potassium, and folic acid, essential microelements for the normal functioning of the nervous system. Magnesium helps to relax, reduces stress and anxiety, and folic acid maintains normal production of neurotransmitters. Potassium improves the functioning of the heart and blood vessels, which means the brain receives better blood supply. Now, a little science. A study conducted at the University of California found that people over 60 who ate at least 30 grams of walnuts a day had significantly higher memory and thinking speed scores than those who did not include nuts in their diet. In Spain, scientists followed a group of 7,000 older people for 2 years. Those who ate nuts at least 5 times a week showed significantly less cognitive decline than those who rarely ate nuts. And another large study conducted by the Harvard School of Public Health linked regular nut consumption with a 20 lower risk of early death including due to improved brain and heart function. But I understand that theory is good, but in practice everyone is interested. How does it work for real people? Back to Linda. I advised her to eat a small handful of walnuts every morning, about 6 to 8 halves, or about 30 grams, and also to drink enough water, because nuts contain fiber, and fiber requires liquid. 3 weeks later, Linda came back to me and said, "Doctor, I feel like myself again." She stopped forgetting important things, her mood improved, and she even started keeping a diary again, which she had abandoned. I want to tell you another story. Mr. George, a 72-year-old retired engineer. He came to me complaining of chronic fatigue, irritability, and frequent memory lapses. George was a skeptic and did not believe in health products, but agreed to an experiment, to replace his evening sweets with a handful of nuts and a piece of dark chocolate. After 2 months, he not only felt more cheerful, but also noticed that he began to quarrel with his wife less often, simply because he became calmer and slept better. "Doctor, I don't know what you found in these nuts, but they work," he said at the reception, laughing. And I have dozens of such stories. Patients note that they become more focused. It is easier for them to concentrate. They are less nervous. And some say that they have started enjoying reading and hobbies again. It is important to know that nuts are high in calories. Therefore, their quantity should be controlled. The optimal dose is a handful per day. If you eat too many, you can overload your digestion or gain excess weight. Now about how to eat them correctly. It is best to eat them slightly dried, but not fried and without salt. This way they retain the maximum amount of nutrients. And if you want to make them even tastier, soak them in water overnight. This activates the enzymes, making them easier to digest. My favorite recipe for the brain: a handful of walnuts, soaked or simply peeled, half a glass of yogurt or kefir, 1 teaspoon honey, a few berries, blueberries or raspberries. Mix all this in a blender. You will get a delicious and very healthy cocktail that nourishes the brain, improves mood, and gives energy for the whole day. If you have diabetes or are overweight, don't worry. Nuts have a low glycemic index, don't raise your sugar levels sharply, and thanks to protein and healthy fats, they give you a long-lasting feeling of satiety, helping you eat less sweets. And now some more practical advice. Keep nuts in plain sight. If you keep them on the kitchen shelf, you'll be more likely to reach for them instead of cookies or sweets. Mix nuts with fruit. An apple and a handful of nuts is the perfect snack to stabilize blood sugar. Add to porridge and salads. Even 2 to 3 halves of a nut in your morning oatmeal will make it more nutritious. Make homemade nut butter. Simply grind nuts in a blender until they become a paste, a great substitute for store-bought sweet spreads. And most importantly, nuts are not just food. They are a small ritual of self-care. When you take a handful every morning, you tell your brain, "I remember you. I care about you." Friends, I want you to remember one simple thought. Your brain loves to be taken care of. There is no one miracle product that will solve all problems, but there are simple habits that can literally change the quality of your life. Walnuts are not a rarity, not an expensive supplement, not a marketing gimmick. They are a product you can buy at your local store and start improving your health today. When I meet people who are afraid of old age, I often tell them, don't be afraid of age, be afraid of inaction. Our brain remains plastic throughout our lives, and even at 70, 80, and 90 years old, you can stimulate it to work, improve your memory, and slow down aging. Think of it this way. Every nut you eat is a small brick in the building of a strong, healthy memory. Try adding a handful of nuts to your diet for at least a month. and I'm almost certain that you'll feel the difference. You'll become more alert, more attentive, calmer. I'm always happy when my patients come back and say, "Doctor, I feel young again." And that's no exaggeration. Don't forget, combine nuts with a healthy lifestyle. More exercise, more water, less stress, and you'll be surprised how clear your mind can be. If you like this video, be sure to like it and subscribe to the senior channel, Vitality Channel, and click the bell to not miss my next tips. In the comments, write, "Do you like walnuts, and in what form do you prefer to eat them?" Maybe you have your own secret recipe with nuts. Share it with others. Let it inspire someone to change their life. Remember, your health is in your hands, and a clear mind is the key to an active and happy life. Take care of yourself, and see you in the next episode. This was Dr. Harold Benson.